Today, we're going to talk about honoring our parents with money.
You're listening to
Jom Sembang Malaysia.
Okay, so what inspired this topic?
So I had conversation with a relative recently. He started a new job.
Okay, how old is he?
Finished uni lah.
Okay.
So fresh grad, first job. So being the older relative, I mean, we're quite close lah. I said, hey, so how are you giving your parents allowance or not? And then he goes, no lah, they're not retired yet.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh. I didn't know what to say after that.
So stuck.
So yes.
Yeah. So actually, I don't know, the part about honoring parents is something that's very ingrained in me. Probably by my grandmother. Because from when I was young, he always saying, oh, you must, my children give me money when they start working. So when I first got my first job, the first thing I did was allocate money for my parents. It became like a auto function.
Right.
And I think that time it wasn't the amount. It was more of like, I remember because I spent so much time listening to my grandmother talking about the children giving money lah. Some give a lot, some never give, some whatever,
Yeah.
I roughly have a rough idea that it's a lot about gesture. And also not a very stingy amount lah. So if you're earning 1,000, you give it 10 ringgit, it's too much lah, in that sense lah. So I remember my first salary was 1,006.
Okay.
And I actually gave them about 400. Like 25% of it.
Wow.
And I remember my parents saying, no need lah, your first job you should keep blah 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 blah. But after that I remember saying, it's just a good habit to start when I get my first job and not when I get my 10,000 ringgit a month job. It will be very hard to part with more money. So that's how I started. And then my grandma was quite proud of me lah. Because not only did I give my parents, I actually gave my grandma the first month.
Right.
Like just to honor lah.
Yeah.
It's what I wanted to do, but not every month after that.
Right.
It's just like, okay, grandma got the first month, my parents still got the first month and the rest of it. And then came my sister work that I need to I don't know, we grew up in the same household, but we never get the same values. Okay, so I needed to hint or remind hey, it's not the amount, it's the gesture, which is totally fine. Then came to my brother. My brother is a little bit more of a slower and special needs, right? So he's the one that is very follow the book one.
Okay.
My money is my money lah. Why must I give it to you, And here I will try to say, okay, fine. If you don't give money, why don't you just, because he's a bit special needs.
Right.
So a bit of different education. So what I did was, your first salary, you should belanja, your parents eat. Okay. So that has become a culture in the family lah. But I always thought that everyone does it, And then I talked to my friend 3 years later after I started working already, right? And then back then, wow, they all earn money not enough to use. They earn more than me, but always not enough to use. So after that, we sat down and calculate why not enough to use. And I realized they never ever give a single cent to the parents. And they said, I never asked them for money, lucky you.
Wow.
So, and it's talking about the same generation.
And how old are these people who never asked the parents for money?
Back then, we were all below 25 lah, that age lah.
Okay.
So for me, if you're working 3-4 years and you never give money, and but back then, right, a lot of my friends, they spend so much, they really ask their parents for money lah. So to them, I did ask for money is a big
My parents not retired yet lah.
Correct. So that was like maybe 10 over years ago. Now, the younger generation that I talk to, like you, if I bring out this topic, they were like, why I need to give money to my parents?
Yeah. So, okay.
What was your first experience with this?
I suppose it would have been my first job also. It just seemed to be the right thing to do. Also because I would always see my sister-in-law giving on behalf of my brother. The women do all this stuff. And it was a very visual thing to me. And it's not like she made a big thing out of it. But it's like,
I give you money.
No, it was just, Ahmad, this is your allowance for this month kind of thing. Just very simple thing. And then, my mother would be very happy because, I mean, it's not like a big amount, like not like, like super big amount. It's like maybe a few hundred kind of thing. But the gesture, right, and the regularness of it just made me think it's the right thing to do lah. So I also kind of followed, right? But so when this relative told me that, this younger relative, it made me double think lah, because my mom has been a single mom all this while. As far as when I started working, she was already a single mom, right? So I'm thinking, so maybe I give to, because she's a single mom, she's not working. But if my parents were working, I did start to question then, do I still give or not? But then after that, when I went back, right, it's like, but I'm still living under their house, what? If not, I have to pay rent somewhere else.
Correct.
And by giving, I'm contributing to the household needs as a responsible
Correct.
thing to do lah. And then in the event that, we get married, move out, whatever, or just move out, don't have to get married to move out, right? But yeah. And then you still want to give, that would be an honoring thing.
That's a
Probably they'll
good
be
way of
older
thinking
already.
about it. I also never thought about like if you move out, do you stop giving allowance? But I don't know. In the Chinese culture, this whole giving monthly allowance thing is a tradition. It's not you live under a roof, so you give. Once you move out, you
Right.
have to give. Even if you get married, you move out, or you decide to move to next door block and stay another block because you don't want to stay with your family, it's still part of the tradition of giving. So that is something that I find the younger generation now do not see because we are so, how to say, indirect lah. Just give quietly. Now you want easier, just online.
Yeah.
So there is not like you and me, we see
Right.
and we learn.
I think so.
This is invisible now, therefore nothing happening. But the interesting part about giving is there's also the whole economic things that's happening. So for example, our parents' generation, when they grow up, they needed to help in the family. So giving is part of that. When it comes to us, we are almost like, okay, they are affordable, but they're not super rich, so giving helps. But the younger generation now is like, the parents really well to do, really do what you like, right? So in their mind, the value is not there. Therefore, the gesture is even more invisible.
Or they think that their parents are well-to-do and got it all covered. I mean, sometimes, right, we look, lifestyle is all there, got nice cars,
Correct.
but you don't really know actually got savings or not.
Correct.
Because they're spending all their money on your education and stuff lah, right?
Correct.
So whether they actually have enough or whether they're actually tightening the belt and don't tell you to protect you from worry or whatever, I really, really don't know. Yeah.
So either way, I think it's just honoring it as a gesture would be nice.
Yeah. So in the end, right, he said, I will belanja them makan lah. So I'm like, okay, that's good. That's once a month lah, you belanja makan.
Correct,
Like,
a good
okay
start
lor,
lah.
okay lor, yeah.
A very good start, like my brother lah.
Yeah.
Belanja makan seems to be easier than deciding how much to.
Yeah, maybe they feel awkward because they've never seen it before, so might be a bit awkward to give like that lah.
Yeah. So after we come back, let's talk a little bit more of what else do we give or how much do we actually have to give back to our parents.
Today's episode is powered by Studio 2105. If you're looking to do a podcast like us, reach out to them. They're available everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok got or not?
He laughed. So don't know. Anyway, it's 21:05, yeah.
Yes, they also do music production. We've done some songs here before. So yeah, reach out to them for all your recording needs.
Okay, so just now, right, I mentioned like, okay, how I decided how much to give from my salary lah, right?
Yeah.
But I also have to be very honest. When I get a salary increase, the first thing I think about is not increasing my parents' allowance.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know why it never crossed my mind on that. Recently, I reevaluate the allowance part is because as the economy goes bad and things start to be expensive, then I review. So I do take time to review that allowance thing. When things need it lah. But it's not on if everything is smooth sailing and then if I get a big promotion, somehow it was out of my mind. That's one thing. The second thing is, I remember doing since day one of my job is, whenever I get a bonus, I give my parents bonus.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's like, like an extra pocket money. I feel that if I get extra pocket money, then my parents should also get extra pocket money. But I might not give them, let's say, every time I get bonus. I might give them Chinese New Year extra pocket money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are some things that, I still do.
I think the Chinese New Year one, I do that too. It's like, okay, if I'm feeling like, wow, this year has been good year in terms of finance, then the ang pao also becomes a bit bigger. I have never thought of increment for for my parents or for my mom at least. I don't know if there's like a formula of how much you should give. Like, okay, so for me, I know tithe like is 10%, right?
Okay, tithing is like something that Christians do. Yeah.
Correct. But for parents, I don't know if there's a formula. Is there?
I'm not sure. So for my personal is when I started giving, my parents were still working.
Mhm.
When they have retired, I actually based on whether they have savings or not and stuff like that.
Okay.
And their needs. And I decide based on that whether I can afford the amount that they need to live
Oh.
on a daily basis.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's something like that. The other thing that I really changed, one of the things that I do the first few years that I'm working is my parents used to pay my insurance.
Okay.
When they're young, right? Every month they pay or something like that. But then my parents bought insurance where at 21, the finish one.
Oh,
Then
okay,
you
okay.
start one. So I remember they paid at 21. I said, okay, now finish already at 21. Then
They're
you
so
get
smart.
you get back your whatever premium or whatever is it.
Yeah.
And they said, for me, how much you buy your own? You
Okay.
start. So I think that was also a good start. So I started paying my own insurance, and then eventually, the question now is a lot of older generation people don't buy insurance, and it's really up to the young ones, the children, to initiate or suggest or just pay for them.
Right.
What are your thinking about this?
So I've considered that before. You know, the funny thing about insurance, right? It ends, the term ends, well, the regular ones, I don't know whether things have changed now. It kind of ends when, just before you start to get sick.
Yeah, 60.
I mean, of course, there are those that, you get those critical illnesses earlier in life. But you really start to get a little bit more concerned after you pass 70.
Correct.
80.
And normally it's more expensive the older you get, like premium price.
Yes, that's the thing. So, I mean, of course, because, yeah. But it's like when people need it most, when it's not available or it's like super expensive. So I did consider that, and then we decided no point, because my mom is generally very healthy, so no point paying a premium when you don't, that kind of high premium. Rather save that lah. Save that, put that in FD or something in case, in case something happens, at least the amount is there lah. It's probably not enough lah for hospital fees nowadays.
But insurance are not cheap nowadays.
Correct, that's why.
It's totally like, yeah. It's like, for me, it's like sometimes a egg and chicken thing. But yeah, I guess you really know if you kena lah.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of my friends said, when you kena, then you will know lah, how much hospital bills are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are the other ways that we can honor our parents besides money?
Well, besides money, a lot of ways actually. And this is something I've been thinking of recently. It's being present. I am trying to do that, not very well. You go to work, come home. Okay, I live with my mom, or rather my mom lives with me.
Okay.
It's my house, right?
Housemates.
Yeah, housemates, correct. But because I work from home, a lot of times it feels like, wow, I spend a lot of time with my mother. But actually, no, it's like breakfast. After that, I go to my home office.
Okay.
And I'm there until lunchtime.
Okay.
Which, okay lah, if office is the same thing. And then come out. And then, we chit-chat a little bit. And then sometimes it's like when she's trying to generate a conversation, I am trying to work. Or
Totally get that. My mom likes to do that. When I'm working, she will just sit next to me and start talking. And I'll be like, can you talk to me during meal time?
Okay, my mother doesn't do that lah. And so it comes to a stage now that actually we don't really talk. And it gets difficult lah. I think as the age progresses and then your interests are
different.
There's like lesser and lesser things to talk about that we're both interested in.
Yep.
And I think I find myself trying to make that extra effort to have those conversations. Like when it comes, right? Like talk lah. Like the other day I talked to her about this app, now on the phone fitness app.
Yeah.
You can do, let's say, go treadmill or what lah, you're cycling. And
From
then you
her
can
new watch that day.
Yes. You can watch the video and it's a lot more fun rather than. So I was just trying to tell her about my gym experience, this new experience that I had. At first she was like, yeah, listening, and after a while I can see she's like, okay, thinking about other things already. So I really had to like put it back, hey, you listening or no? That kind of thing. Be thick skin a bit. Then she's like, oh yeah, okay, she's trying to tell me something. Because otherwise it's hard to find subjects lah that we would actually engage on. Does that make sense?
Does make sense. But I have to say, good job for you, because I think it's harder to be present when you're always together. Because you kind of take it for granted that you're together. So for me, right, when I was living with my parents, I also I feel that I spent a lot of time with them. Just because we're in the same room, same house, doing things maybe, but in between it's just have you watered the plants, that kind of communication, not proper communication.
What shall we eat for lunch,
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and then when I moved out, then I realized when I met them, I really have proper conversation. So for me to have that proper conversation when I'm staying with them takes so much more effort. I need to okay, now it's family time, but isn't it family time all this time? But okay, never my family time. And the need to so-called disconnect to connect deeply compared to the have you washed the clothes kind of connect.
Yeah.
It's extra effort. So for that, I think you're doing pretty well.
And it's also sometimes you there's no additional story to tell, Because
you're
the whole day together,
correct,
there's no other story to tell.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
So I think being present is quite an important thing right now. Especially in today's era where everything's TikTok or whatever. For me, because I don't live with my parents, so they always send TikTok video forwarded messages. It's an effort to stay connected, but at the same time, I feel that it happens with any other group, so I don't feel that connection.
I see.
I still need to isolate time. So what really good thing came out of the pandemic was we have our weekly family call, video call. That you are really forced to answer the call and look at the person on the video and talk. Okay.
Yeah.
Even that, it took a long time for us to just have that quality time because we'll be turning on and then we're doing some other stuff.
Yes.
And you're hey, are you even listening to me? That kind of stuff. So being present is something that I think a lot of parents actually miss. They kind of want to know what you're doing, but they kind of don't need the detail kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
And then they get annoyed if they you don't tell but then for me it's what's the point of telling you, hey, I'm going to Bintulu to talk, and then to them that's sufficient. To me it's sufficient okay or sometimes they say talk what do what
Yeah, it's either too much info or too little info. Why do you need to know this?
The balance of it.
Or if I tell too much, then
But for them, it's really to just stay connected, even as we grow to different phases in life. My parents really appreciate just, she went Bintulu. She should go. They will go everywhere. Say, my daughter go Bintulu. Instead of go everywhere. I don't know what daughter is doing.
That makes sense. So just knowing where their anak-anak.
Yeah, compared to someone else coming there. Hey, your daughter was in Bintulu.
Then really, don't know.
Yeah, then they get
a bit embarrassing also
agitated.
Yeah, but that regular thing I think is important to them because they need some kind of assurance. I think, I don't know, it could be a personality type or it could be an age thing that they just want to know, okay, what's going to happen this week? And that regularity helps out. So for me, one thing I try to do is to keep the Sundays available so that mom and I can go to my brother's place and have dinner together, just spend the evening together. Sometimes people ask for, can we do a training on this one? Or can we do this on, can we meet up? And as far as possible, Sundays, I will just say, cannot. I'm occupied. That means it's literally a block there.
Yep.
Also because if there happens to be a time that, so my brother is not available that weekend, and then the following weekend, I go and give away already, then end up 1 month never see her, and then my mother will be never see her grandson grandsons. So I feel that just keeping that as far as I can really helps lah. Yeah.
Okay, to summarize the episode, so we have 3 things that we talk about today. Impromptu. I'm actually counting in my brain. So the first one is giving allowance to your parents as a gesture.
Yeah.
Not so much the amount, but that gesture. I think it's good to start as early as possible so that you're used to the habit of it.
Yeah.
Second thing is be present.
Mm-hmm.
When you're with them, be present and not half body with them, mind and soul not with them. Okay, the third thing was just, what was he saying just now?
A regularity thing.
Yeah. So invest time, energy, intentional time and energy.
Yes. I want to tell story, cannot.
Okay, you can end with a last story.
Okay, so number 1 was about money, right? Sometimes you think, it's just give. But giving that first ang pao can be very, very beneficial. I'll tell you this story about a friend of mine. Okay, so he wanted to be a musician, but his grandmother always telling him, be a pharmacist. Pharmacy is very good. Because my tai chi, I go every morning. There's this one friend mine, have the granddaughter is pharmacist. very good one. Earn a lot of money one.
Okay,
And then on top of getting all the medicine lah, get discount and everything. So what he did was his first gig.
Okay.
He got paid quite decently. He bungkus that thing in an ang pao, gave the whole thing to his grandmother.
Okay.
Since then, the grandmother has been going to the Tai Chi and it's like, my grandson, musician, one night can earn don't know how many 100 ringgit. That day he give me ang pao. So the benefit of that is you can flip your grandparents' perspective or understanding of what you do. Of course, he doesn't earn like that all the time.
Yeah.
But it really paid off for him. He was a smart boy. Well done.
Put them in the peace of mind that you are
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
I think when you
Can
stop
fend for
giving
yourself.
allowance, it's when your parents say that, something's not okay.
I think so.
It's a good indication for both parties. So yeah, let's end on that good note.
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by two Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff.
Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Cerita Suito and Gina Yap Layung.
Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105.
Remember to click like and subscribe for the brand new episode next week.